Sexual abuse in our society is very prevalent. Currently, there are approximately 42 million survivors of child sexual abuse in the United States alone. Statistics show that 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys will experience sexual violence before the age of 18. The most important thing to remember is that 10% of sexual abuse is perpetrated by a stranger, somebody you've never met. 90% of the time, it's by somebody you know and or love. And that's what makes it so hard to tell.
Many victims don't tell anyone about sexual abuse for years. In some cases, they never do, and that makes them feel so alone. But overcoming the effects of abuse begins by sharing your story and reaching out for help. During the years I was being abused, I felt like I was the only person in the world it could ever happen to. If only I had known that so many other people experienced what I was experiencing, I might have reached out for help sooner. I certainly wouldn't have felt so alone.
He loved my kids, and one thing he said that touched my heart was, this is my second chance to be a great dad, because he wasn't to his daughter. And he said, now God's giving me a second chance, and he was a pastor. So what was there for me to be worried about?
He made it seem like everybody else in the world hated me and he was the only one that loved me. And so that's how I felt. I felt that he was the only person that was there for me. I felt that he was my only friend. I felt that he was the only person that I could trust. And he made it so that I leaned on him for everything, that I had lost a part of myself because I was so wrapped up into him. And he made it so that he had utter complete control over me. And I didn't even realize it. I just thought that he was being a good parent, a good friend, and someone that I could lean on.
Childhood sexual abuse cuts across all socioeconomic backgrounds, cultural, economic, it matters not. In my own case, we lived in a gated community and people thought that that protected us. And the reality is that it happens in temples, churches, mosques, in every zip code all throughout the world. That it matters not what color, race, religion you are. The greatest risk factor of being a victim of child sexual abuse is being a child. And we all know that being a child shouldn't hurt, but all too often it does. And so it's so important that if that is something that has happened to you or someone that you know, to get help. Because that is how you become victim to victor and survivor to thriver.
When you say the word groomer, it doesn't sound as awful as it is. I mean, it's a perpetrator, it's a manipulator. It's somebody that manipulates a person to get what they need or get what they want. Many times you can see manipulators as peers, that they're manipulating you in ways, they're giving you flattery, they're telling you how beautiful you are and that you're so amazing and nobody understands me like you do. So they're using that in order to get something from you, whether it be sex, whether it be naked pictures, whether it be whatever it is that they need or want from you. Sometimes you'll see where perpetrators will groom families in order to have access to children to abuse. You will see men that will only date single mothers. They will, because they know that that mother, she needs help. So they'll start dating this single mother, they'll become the caregiver of these children, and then they have access to those children. And because of the nature of sexual abuse being so secretive, you have to have access to children. It's very difficult to grab a child off the street and sexually abuse them because they're immediately going to tell. Most of the time, because they don't have any fear of what's going to happen to this person because they don't know them. When it's somebody in their home, they have that fear of what's going to happen to mom. Is mom going to be able to pay the bills?
He became what I thought was my best friend. He was the only person I had, and he made it so that we told each other secrets, and he wanted himself to be the only person that I trusted. And one night he took advantage of me, and he thought that getting me high and getting me drunk would make me do stuff with him, and I wouldn't do that, but he kept making advances towards me.
The important thing with children, even teenagers who were sexually abused as young kids and never told, they can still be suffering in ways today. They can have trouble concentrating, they can not be doing well in school, they can have eating disorders, or even go towards substances in ways of coping with what happened. Sometimes teenagers will think that, well, I was sexually abused so long ago, it's not affecting me now. But actively pushing it out of your mind and trying to forget about it is a way that it's affecting you.
If you've been a victim of sexual abuse, you need to know that you are not alone and that it's not your fault. You can go on to become a thriving survivor. It takes courage to get out of an unsafe situation, but there are people who can help you. You can talk to a guidance counselor, a teacher, a family member, or any trusted adult. Healing begins when you tell someone your story.